Hello there and welcome back. My name is Robin if you happen to be new here, and today I'm going to be taking you along with me into the kitchen to prep some of the food for Thanksgiving dinner. I have a couple of pies to make, some cranberry butter to make, and then I have a few other things to do, and as well as sharing with you my mom's famous punch that we use every time we get together, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas. We absolutely love it. So I'm going to share that recipe with you guys today, in case you're looking for a nice tasty drink to share on Thanksgiving Day. So this is my second Thanksgiving prep video. I shared one a couple days ago, and that had to do with getting the table set and decorated and finding all of my serving dishes, along with a few other little things. So if you missed that, I'll make sure to link that. But today we're gonna have fun in the kitchen, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do today is get started on one of the pies that I'm going to be making. I'll be making an apple pie and a blueberry pie. Someone else is bringing the pumpkin pie, but apple and blueberry is the ones that I normally make every single year because I personally love the blueberry pie and my husband likes the apple pie. When it comes to pie making, I totally cheat. I buy the pie filling, I buy the crust, and I just bake it up. And it is so delicious. We have no complaints whatsoever. And we actually prefer them over the ones that you can buy in like the deli or bakery section of the grocery stores, because those always seem to be sort of stale tasting by the time you get them home and you eat them. So we like to make our own, but we cheat a little bit. So we're gonna start with the apple pie today because that one takes the longest. So I'll share with you what I use, and then we'll get it put together and into the oven. The apple pie in the oven baking, and while that's going, the next thing I'm going to do is whip up some butter. Whipping the butter is obviously not something that I need to do, but it's a nice little thing to do. It makes it easier to spread onto your rolls and that sort of thing. So I'd like to take the time to do it. So I'm going to use a pound of butter, and then we'll get it whipped up, put into the containers that go onto the table, and then cover them up with saran wrap, and then into the fridge until Thanksgiving Day. So pie number one is done. It turned out, it took me a long time to get the top to brown up. And as I was waiting for it to brown up, then it started bubbling out. So it kind of got a little messy, but that's all right. It'll taste just fine. So next we need to make the blueberry pie. I am really finicky about my blueberry pie. I don't like the chunks of blueberry in the filling. So I put it in my blender and kind of, puree it a little bit. And then I put it into the pie crust. And I only use 1 jar of the pie filling. I think most blueberry pies call for at least 2 cans, but I only like to use 1 because I don't like it to be real thick. So that's my own personal preference, but you can definitely add a second jar of pie filling if you prefer. So let's go ahead and get the blueberry pie ready and into the oven. So the blueberry pie is in the oven. The next thing we're going to start working on is the cranberry butter. Now I am not an expert at making cranberry butter. Normally this is something that my husband does because it came from his side of the family and he normally makes it every single year, but he's not home right now. So I'm going to try it and attempt to make it myself. It's very simple. It's basically butter, fresh cranberries, and powdered sugar, and it is absolutely delicious on rolls. It is great on leftover. If you have turkey sandwiches and you put this on it, oh my goodness, you guys, it is so delicious. So definitely worth making if you like, flavored butters at all. So I'm gonna get out my little chopper and we're gonna get started. I'm laughing so hard right now. That was a complete disaster. But we got it done. It tastes good and it'll be fine. But I definitely would have done two things differently. I would have much rather used my Ninja, which is much larger than trying to use these itty bitty little food processors. Secondly, I would have warmed or at least had the butter at like room temperature. I think it would have worked out much better that way than like refrigerator cold butter that took a bit to get chopped up and like, you know, moving around in there. So that was half my problem. The other problem was that I was using too small of a mixer to get it done. So anyways, this is why my husband makes the cranberry butter, because he is an expert at it and I have never done it before. So we shall see, but I think it tastes good. It looks the way it's supposed to. And let's see, I used a stick and a half of butter. I used a half a cup of powdered sugar and maybe 3/4 of a cup of cranberries, somewhere between a half of a cup and 3/4 of a cup of cranberries. So it doesn't take very much and we get quite a bit. So I'm going to get these into their serving bowls, get a cover on them, and then get them in the refrigerator until Thanksgiving Day. Is cornbread. My husband likes to make a cornbread stuffing, so I'm going to get that baked up so it's ready and then he can crumble it and do whatever he needs to do with it. I'm going to be using the Famous Dave's cornbread mix. This is the preferred cornbread in our house, so I'll be using that, and basically it just has one package. It's got milk, water, and an egg in it, and then it makes an 8x8 pan. So we're going to do that next and get that in the oven. So I have all the major things done. I have the 2 pies baked, I have the cornbread made, the cranberry butter's made, the regular butter is whipped, pies are cooling, so I'll let those cool for a couple hours, then I'll get those into the refrigerator to keep them fresh. So I have a couple other things that I want to do, which is fill up the salt and pepper shakers and then get the cranberry sauce, or the cranberry jelly, I guess you would call it. Here is this. This is what we use every year. It's tradition. I remember Grandma used to serve this at Thanksgiving dinner, and this stuff is really good on the turkey. So basically, I just want to get this out of the can and kind of stir it up a little bit so it doesn't look like a tin can, and then put it in a pretty dish. Get that covered and get that put in the fridge. So we'll do salt and pepper shakers, and then do the cranberry jelly, and then we can start on the punch. get the fun part of making the punch. This stuff is so good. My mom has made it for years. We have it at Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving every single year. And special occasions in between, whenever there's a need for some punch. It's always a big hit. So you're gonna need something rather large, and I'm sorry, I don't have anything. I don't have any pretty, adorable little beverage dispensers. So I'm gonna just use what we always use, and it's one of these drink cooler type things. I have a Gatorade one. Mom has a Coleman one that we have used for years and years and years. I'm not sure how large this is. It doesn't say anywhere on here how big it is, but I'm thinking it's a 2-gallon. Not quite sure. It might be 2.5 gallon. I'm not really sure. But basically, we're going to fill this whole thing up with punch. So, to get started on the punch, you will need a container of frozen orange juice concentrate. You will need a can of Sprite or 7-Up, some sugar, some white sugar, and 2 to 3 packages of Tropical Punch Kool-Aid mix. I have 2 packets, so that's what I'm using today. I think my mom says she normally uses 3, but I don't have the third one, so I guess I won't be doing that. To get started, we're going to take like a regular pitcher. We're going to put both packages of Kool-Aid in. We're going to put the whole thing of orange juice concentrate in it. I've made sure that this is defrosted. Anyways, and then we'll add 1.5 cups of sugar, and then we'll fill this with about halfway with water. Stir it all up, make sure everything's dissolved, and then we'll pour it into the big pitcher. The orange juice, the Kool-Aid, the sugar, and a little bit of water all dissolved together. We're going to pour it into the big jug. So next we're going to go ahead and add 4 quarts of water so that this container is about 3/4 full. Step in making the punch is to add the Sprite or the 7-Up, whichever you prefer. And you're not going to want to do that until the day that you are planning to serve the punch. So you can get all the rest of the punch put together ahead of time and get it chilled, but don't put the soda in until the very last little bit before you serve it, because you don't want it to go flat. So we normally chill the punch section and the soda section and then put them together right before we start serving. So pour in the soda, give it a little stir, and you're good to go with some delicious punch. The best part about making the punch is to be the taste tester, and I'm excited because I love this punch so much. It has been, when was the last time I had this? I think it was Easter. It's been a long time. I'm very excited about this. But yeah, so you can definitely tweak this recipe. I will say I think it needs to have the 3 packages of Kool-Aid. It's a little weak because I didn't have that 3rd package. But other than that, it is still tasty. And you definitely just want to serve it over ice, and it is super, super yummy. Cheers. So this is probably the last video that I'm going to be sharing before Thanksgiving. So let me take a moment to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful and memorable time with your friends and family. And I just want to thank you also for being part of my life by watching my videos, getting to know me, becoming my friends, supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it so very, very much. And it is something that I am definitely very, very thankful for. So thank you for being part of my life. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye now.